Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Intelligence Racing League, where there are only 4 rounds left in the championship, and at the last 3 rounds, the championship lead has changed hands between our current leader, Daniel, and Just As in second place. We're getting to the business end now of the season. The Knights are drawing in, and the end of the championship is drawing in as well. Who will be victorious tonight? It is round number 16 of the championship. Spanish Grand Prix around the Circuit de Catalunya. 33 laps. Firstly, though, there is an 18-minute qualifying session, of course, as usual. And as I was saying, Daniel and Just As are 1-2 in the championship at the moment. A second place for the Alfa Romeo driver and only a 5th for the Lithuanian in the Racing Point meant that Daniel now takes the lead of the championship. He is 7 points ahead of the Racing Point of Just As. Mr. Pop XL is in third, 54 points behind, mathematically still in with a chance, as are a total of 7 drivers at the moment. Realistically, though, you would be very surprised if it is anything other than Daniel or Just As who ends up taking this championship victory. Qualifying just about to get underway in what looks like absolutely perfect conditions for racing. And who will take the checkered flag then? Who will be the one to get the win? We've had 4 different winners in the last 4 races, 6 in the last 7. This should be very interesting indeed. Menno de Bever then, first man out in the McLaren. He's one of those drivers who still has a mathematical chance of winning the championship. He's in 4th, 80 points at the moment, 64 points behind. So realistically, probably not going to happen. He will be aiming though for 3rd place in the championship and has shown some good form of late, equaling his best result in Austria with a 2nd place and then following up with a 4th in very wet conditions at the Monza circuit last time out, where it was a reserve driver who took the victory, and he is reserving tonight. He's in a Haas this evening, and that is Thomas SV5 taking a win after failing to finish the time before. Delighted with that performance. A 2nd place for Daniel and a 2nd podium in a row for Mr. Pop XL. He managed to finish in 3rd in that race. Another good result then for the Racing Point team. They are now 67 points ahead of Alfa Romeo. It really does look as though Racing Point will secure the championship. Can't do that this afternoon. Would not surprise me though if next time out at Russia, or perhaps for time after that in UAE, Abu Dhabi, they take the championship. So here we go then, Menno de Bever on board with him. This incredibly long run down towards turn 1, one of the longest on the calendar, only rivaled by Mexico at that incredible altitude into this turn 1 chicane, and already Menno has invalidated his lap. Not ideal whatsoever through that part of the circuit. He was hoping to keep it nice and clean. So we'll go on board with the Mercedes of Harry. Let's see what he can do in that all-black Mercedes. Just avoids invalidating at turn 1. The driver's really heading over that curve. And then you've got this long right-hander at turn 3. The front left tyre takes an absolute killing around this circuit. Another difficult corner for it is the right-hander at turn 4. Very hard to track to see overtaking on. Quite often though, when they do happen, you see battles all the way down through this part of the circuit as well, as Harry now throwing his car around turn 5 and 6 up to the chicane at 7 and 8. Very tricky indeed. Hit the curb too much, you'll probably spin the car. Then the very fast turn 9, slight lift there from Harry. Expect much bigger lifts in the race when they're heavy on fuel load and using the harder tyres. Heavy braking at the end of the DRS zone then for turn 10. Don't expect to see too many overtakes into there. And then a tricky final sector of the lap, turn 11 and turn 12. Another long right-hander where your tyres are begging for mercy. This new chicane, added in 2008, 13, 14 and 15, means the final corner is just now a straight, flat-out run towards the finish line. Harry will be the first driver to set a time, and it's a 1:14.367 for the Mercedes man. Only took part in 2 races so far this season, and 8th in Austria and failing to finish last time out. As we said though, extremely tricky conditions at the last race, so he'll be hoping for a better result today, as will all of the drivers that are involved in this, and especially Just As, who's still in the pits, but qualifying has become a bit of an Achilles heel for the Lithuanian at the moment. Now he's heading out on circuit. Does seem to be struggling more and more in the qualifying sessions, which is definitely not ideal for him. Quite a few drivers invalidating, including Daniel. Then we've got Mr. Pop heading towards the finish line. He's been showing some good form of late, carrying that on as well. Goes up into 2nd place. Thomas, last week's winner, heads towards the line. He takes second place, 100th of a second behind Javi. So again, showing some fantastic pace. Who have we got now heading around the end of the lap? CPI_Connor. He's invalidated his lap. He's got JF Russia just ahead of him, who also invalidated his previous lap. So don't be surprised if these guys now head towards the pit lane. Connor not finishing last time out. He retired on track. His AI car took him round. There's just a few little problems like that and a few little issues. Probably his worst race of the season so far, and it could well have ended pretty well. Just got involved in a few incidents. One with Menno de Bever, one after the safety car. Quite often we do say safety cars breed safety cars. Connor, 5th in the championship at the moment. 68 points, but definitely one of the quickest drivers out there. One not to be trifled with as the rest of the season goes on. We've had 5 minutes of this first qualifying session here. Harry on top at the moment. Thomas is second. Mr. Pop is in 3rd position. As we go on board with CPI Bullet Boy, one of the reserves we've got here at INL. Scored his first points of the season, surprisingly, for someone who's shown such good pace, really. It's the 6th race he took part in last time out. Managed to get an 8th in Italy. Risked going for the wet tyres when most of the other drivers were on the intermediates. Tried something different. Didn't work out, but did get an 8th position. So again, he'll be hoping for some really good points at this moment in time. But a nice good luck message from Jav. If they're going to need the luck, now might be the time when they need it. Qualifying oh so important around here. Very difficult to overtake, but it is possible, especially into turn 1, especially on lap 1. Incredibly long run to turn 1. Fernando Alonso, one of the many drivers who's had a fantastic start around here, this being his home circuit, qualified 4th in 2011 and was up to 1st by the time they got to turn 1, and again in 2013. An absolutely fantastic first lap from the Spaniard, bringing in some good results. Bullet Boy just going around now, 7 and 8. Very easy to oversteer the car through here. Just hit the curb a bit too hard and you can spin towards that inside barrier. Easily damage your front wing, or worse, if you are not careful. We'll go on board though with Justaz up ahead. Looks as though he's on a 2nd warm-up lap at the moment. So just bending the tyres in ever so slightly as Rotation has managed to spin off ahead of him. Not sure if he's managed to touch the wall on those medium tyres. Slowest of everyone at the moment. Be interesting to see whether he does go to the whether he sticks on the mediums or goes to the softs. I imagine most drivers will try to qualify on the softs, but you will see some alternate strategies later down the field. Bullet Boy up into 3rd then, a 1:14.409 for him, and extremely close, top of the charts at the moment. Less than half a tenth of a second separating your top 3. Then Mr. Pop only a further 10th back as well, so it's looking like we're going to have some incredibly close racing here tonight. That is what we want to see. Who else have we got on a flying lap at the moment? The Renault of Knuckle BZ's invalidated as he comes round the final sector. Chapalele showed great promise with that amazing victory at Singapore, where he got the strategy absolutely brilliantly. Just hasn't visited the podium since then. Again, mathematically still in a chance of the championship, although 93 points behind. He's going to realistically need to win every race, get fastest laps in every race, and hope really that Daniel and Justaz don't do anything. Just hitting the curve too hard through 7, and you can see how that pushes you wide through 8. Then he decides that is lap over for him. He's not going to be setting any time at this moment, and that has been a feature of Chapalele so far this season. Invalidating a lot in qualifying, starting near the back of the grid, and then just trying to do the best with what he's got. Rotation still going around on those old medium tyres. 3 laps so far. He won't be hoping start on those tyres. Does not want to have to do 3 or 4 lap old tyres in the top 10, and I imagine that time will be beaten quite comfortably by some other drivers as they start heading around. We've got Ivan Bakker out on the intermediate tyres. Now this is an alternate strategy strat if I've ever seen one. Intermediate tyres, bone dry circuit. Says to me a lot of drivers just want to set a time and not be near the back, but don't want to be anywhere near that front of the grid. One-stop strategy, mediums to hards, works extremely well around this circuit. That front left tyre, turn 3, turn 4, turn 9 and turn 12, all putting extremely high loads on that front left, so that is usually the one that dictates when you are coming into the pits. JF Russia has done a lap on the intermediates. Of course, this could backfire. You end up binning it into the barriers, and as I say that, Connor too wide too wide through turn 4. Into the wall he goes. Very lucky to only break his front wing there. Very lucky. I think simulation damage on that would have been a I'm out of the race, out of qualifying. He's in 16th for the moment. He's going to bring lots of dirt and debris onto the track, and he's going to have to come in for a front wing change. So not ideal whatsoever for Connor at the moment. One of the other drivers yet to set a time as Thomas now goes fastest. Fantastic lap from him. 1:14.009. 3 tenths quicker than everyone else. If that's the form he's showing, he's going to be an extremely tricky driver to beat today. And oh, Justas has done the exact same thing as Connor. That is very strange indeed. Another driver getting very wide through turn 4, just hitting the curb ever so slightly, and as soon as you go onto the dirt, you've not got enough traction on that loaded outside tyre to do anything with it. Another driver, as I said, to go into the barriers. Front wing damage for him. Another driver yet to set a time. Really leaving it quite late, these guys. 8 minutes to go. Thomas fastest. Harry, Bullet Boy, Mr. Pop, Asakomi is in 5th, and he is on a flying lap at the moment. He's coming around turn 3 in the Ferrari. Has had a podium in the first race since the reboot at Canada. Not really gone to plan for him since then. Only scored points once in the last 7 races, so he'll be hoping for a better performance tonight. 10th in the championship at this moment in time on 29 points. Not far behind Barakakat, who's actually been really consistent so far this season. The AlphaTauri driver is never really fighting at the sharp end, but has scored points every round since round number 3 of the restart, so Mexico. The last 7 rounds of the championship, he's managed to score points, and he'll be hoping he can carry on that run tonight. McCrew is in 6th. He's on an outlap, as is his teammate Menno de Beva. Let's see what Knucklebeezy can do then on a flying lap. He's got VRT Law just ahead of him. You don't want to be going through these corners that close to someone with the dirty air effect on this game. And Knuckle goes into 7th position then. 1:14.957 for him. Asakomi heads towards the line. In the end, he backed off. Not sure whether he invalidated, but a 1:17 for him. He'll have another attempt. Still only 10 drivers having set a time with 6 minutes remaining. I think quite a few of these drivers are quite happy not setting any time whatsoever. Daniel's going to try and set one on the mediums. He's usually near the sharp end in qualifying, so watch out what he can do here. Anything in the high 140s, low 150s would be a fantastic lap. And look at that, 1:14.745, 6th place for him. He's looking very good indeed as McCrew. McCrew now copies Connor and Justas. Almost like there's some oil or something out on track. If that was possible on this game, that's what I'd be blaming it on. Very strange how many spinners we've had. Menno got it wrong coming through turn 9 as well. Seems to be very low grip. For whatever reason, the drivers really seem to be struggling with grip. Looks like Menno hasn't got any major front wing damage though, so he'll have another chance. And look at how many cars we've got trying to set times on the medium tyres at the moment. Is that Skeletal Star? The latest victor at turn 4. Looks as though he's just ran wide. Well, ran a lot wider than everyone else and just understeered off rather than the oversteer that some of the others have been suffering. Strange, I think is the way to put this at the moment. Very strange indeed how many drivers are having problems, as we've got a Mercedes. Looks to have spun. That is Harry. So many. That's another car with. Earlier on, it was Rotation who went off there. URC Rotation, but really a lot of drivers do seem to be struggling for whatever reason. Whether they're just overheating the tyres, possibly even through the final sector. It's very warm, very sunny, so that is a possibility. Connor on a hot lap at the moment, as Menno, I think, has had another moment, but just as he's trying to recover the car back to the pits, Connor getting very close again to that white line coming out of turn 4. Had to correct the steering, so that will have cost him a bit of time. 1:14.7 is what he'll be aiming for on that set of the medium tyres. We'll have to see. It will just come up with it being his best time so far in the session. Not though. If you're doing that into the wall, rear tyre off, Connor is out of this session. A second spin in 2 hot laps. The drivers really pushing hard at this moment in time to just set a good time. And in Connor's case, pushing too hard. He will be starting at the moment from 17th. You imagine Law. Well, will Law and Chapelele try to set a time, or are they quite happy having no time whatsoever at this moment. We'll have to see how it goes for them. Just as keeping it clean at the moment. He's trying to get a run in on the mediums. You could well start in the top 10 on those medium tyres, and if you manage to do that, you are going to be looking very good indeed, especially if you manage to set your time on the mediums on only one run. You don't want to put too many laps into them, sort of negating the benefit of starting on the harder tyres. As just as he dives into the pit, so I wonder if we'll actually see him come out again. He's pretty happy at the moment. Rotation into the pits as well. Barakakap currently in 9th place. He'll be entering the pit lane as well. What can Mr. Pop do? He's invalidated his time on the softs. So Daniel and Barakakap in a good position at the moment. 9th and 6th. 6th being Daniel on those medium tyres. But Crew's going out on a set of the mediums to try and set a better lap. He's making his comeback to the league. Been a long time. Long time since we have seen McCrew. Good to see him back. We'll see what he can do in the McLaren. 2 minutes 46 seconds remaining then. Most of the drivers in the pits. JF Rocher setting a much faster time. 1:14.7 from him on the medium tyres. So he's showing some good pace on these mediums. Mr. Pop has retired from the session. He's happy with 4th at the moment. I think we will soon get very busy indeed. The Crew on an outlap. Let's follow him round in the McLaren. Daniel happy with 7th place. He knows he might drop down, but he knows he'll be starting on the mediums no matter what, as Asakomi has left the session. Hopefully he's able to rejoin. Let's see what McCrew can do. He's going to have completely free air all the way around the track. You'd imagine the Red Bulls coming through sector 2 as he heads into turn 1. A bit of a twitch of oversteer there on the apex meant it wasn't an ideal line through 2, so you're a bit tighter than you'd want to be through turn 3. But we'll compare this to his best time at the moment, and there we go, 2 tenths down. Law leaving the session as well. A few drivers seem to be having connection issues. Hopefully that doesn't affect them in the race and we can all carry on nice and safely. We don't want any restarts whatsoever. But McCrew now sector 2, 7 and 8. Nice and tidy. How much commitment have you got on these mediums through turn 9? Pretty good indeed. A similar lift to what we saw Harry do earlier on the soft tyres. Track rubbering in all the time, of course. But McCrew 4 tenths down on his best. And yeah, he's backed off. He knows he's not improving at all from him. So we're not going to see any improvements from him. Ivan Bakker, 11th on the mediums. So not a bad lap indeed. He will be starting, I imagine, on a fresh set of the medium tyres and then going to the hards in the race. So he's in 11th. 1 minute remaining. Who's on a hot lap at the moment? Shapalele just starting his. Can he keep it clean? What can he do on the mediums? He has got the pace to be one of the quickest drivers on this grid, and having him and Connor and maybe Justas starting from the back, and even Menno de Bever could be very excited indeed. Quite a mixed up grid. Any early safety cars, early incidents could change the complexity of this race and the championship as well. Only 4 rounds remaining. Tonight in Spain, next week in Russia, then Abu Dhabi before we end in Brazil on December the 19th. So make sure to watch that one. Rotation. Looks like he's gone into the wall at turn 3, so Rotation is out of the session. As you can see there, his stricken car just behind Bullet Boy. So we quickly went on board with him. Shapalele is going to head across the line then. What time is it going to be as he's coming around the final few corners now into this tricky chicane that finishes the lap? Can he get into the 1 minute 14s? Can he get into the top 10 on the medium tyres on the Red Bull and give himself a great chance of getting a fantastic result here tonight in the Red Bull? What a lap from him. Fastest man of all on the medium tyres. 6th place for Shapalele. 1:14.662. McCrew backed off quite heavily. He's just heading towards the bits. Menno de Bever, it's an improvement from him. He heads across the line. 10th position in the end. Looks as though he just backed off towards the end of that lap. Started on 2 lap old mediums. Not ideal. Not really what you'd want to be doing. JF Washer's going to be starting on 3 lap old mediums. So they're hoping to get some good life out of these. Bullet Boy comes across the line. He stays in 2nd place for now. We've got the 2 Renaults coming around the final through corners. Knuffle in 11th. Killer Brent straight off towards the wall there. So he's not improving whatsoever. What can Justas do? He's gone for the soft tyres. He is going for it in this session. A lot of other drivers, a lot of his rivals starting on the mediums. He wants to start on the soft tyres. Can he take pole position at the death? No, he cannot. It's 2nd place for him. Thomas was unable to improve And I think that is it for this session. And it is Thomas on pole position, the winner last time out. Can he make it 2 wins in a row? Can Just As retake the championship lead? He's 7 points behind Daniel at the moment. He's starting 7 places ahead of Daniel. But the Alfa Romeo will be on the mediums, whereas Just As on the softs, perhaps on a more compromised strategy. Very interesting qualifying lap indeed. And there we see the times then. Thomas fastest, Just As in second, Bullet Boy, another great performance from the reserve in third, Harry fourth in the Mercedes, Mr. Pop XL in fifth, Racing Point looking very handy indeed to extend their lead in the Constructors' Championship. Asakomi is sixth, Chapalele fastest man on the mediums in seventh with JF Rocha and Daniel. Also going for the mediums, McCrew on his comeback is starting 10th. On the soft tyres, Menno will have free choice of tyres in 11th, as will Nufflebeezy, Barakakap, Ivan Backer, Killer Brent, Rotation, Skeletor Star, Connor we saw crash out, and VRT Law did not set a time. And who's going to win? Thomas looks to have very good pace indeed. It's whether the alternate strategy can work for Chapalele, can work for Daniel, can work for Rocha and some of the others. Could be all about how they do on that first lap, where the soft runners have the advantage of the grip, especially off the start line. Only Mexico has a longer run towards turn 1. Could be all important. Make sure to stay tuned. This is going to be an absolutely fantastic race. 33 laps. That could have a big say in where the INL Championship goes. And let's not forget a £20 PSN gift card prize for the winner. And if you want to watch some other racing as well at INL, you make sure to check out Division 2. That is live now with Ivor Bryn Mike taking us through the action there in Div 2. But we're going to be staying here for Div 1 as the drivers just get their setups ready, just get their strategies ready. Setup wise, only able to adjust front wings and now differentials, now that the game has fixed that. Only making slight changes to the car, maybe just to make it handle a bit better. A lot of drivers really seem to be struggling with oversteer in that session. We saw Just As Connor twice have spins, Menno de Bever another one to spin, Harry rotation, all finding it very tricky. Quite low grip, it seems to be. How will they cope in the race, especially with a full 105 kilograms of fuel on board? Skeletor Star's going to have to try and cope on cold tyres, which is not ideal, and those are the tyre choices for everyone. We knew in the top 10 it'd be Chapalele, Rocher, Daniel on the mediums. Outside the top 10 you've got Menno de Bever, Ivan Backer, Connor, Law on the hards, Nuffle, Barakagap, Killer Brent rotation, and Skeletor on the mediums. This isn't the first race this season where Connor has started from near the back of the grid. He put in a fantastic performance in Austria after a bad qualifying to take the win in Hungary. On the day he had the win, but it got taken off him with Daniel's penalty being removed and Connor receiving a penalty. He's an extremely quick driver. He can make strategies work that you don't think will work. A brilliant job to hold on to. A brilliant job to hold on to that win in Japan. In the end, the one win he's had that didn't get taken off him by the stewards. He could very easily have 3 wins and be right up there in the championship, holding on hard tyres in Japan. No one else seemed to be able to challenge him. What can he do from 18th? Can Menno do anything on the hard tyres in 11th? He'll be hoping for a good performance on those fresh tyres. And how about Chapalele? 7th position at the moment, starting on the mediums. He'll be going on that one-stop strategy. Medium to hard tyres. Absolutely no doubt about that. Can he make it work? The alternate strategy got him the win in Singapore, and to have any chance of staying in the championship, he needs to win today. And in all honesty, even that probably won't be enough. He's going to have some fun while trying. It's Daniel versus Just As, the battle you want to watch out for. And Just As has a nice clear view towards turn 1. Thomas slightly ahead of him, alongside him on that pole run. But Just As, if he gets a good start and that inside line, he could be tough to beat. Won the first 3 races of the season. Seems a long time ago since we saw him take those victories though, and hasn't had a podium in either of the 3 races. Will that change today, or will the alternate strategy just prove to be too strong for some of those lower down the grid? We're just waiting then. Everyone seems to be here. I know VLT Lord did join at the end of qualifying, but I don't think anyone's joined during the formation lap, which always seems to kill the game. Thomas on pole, just as second, Bullet Boy third, Harry fourth, Mr. Pop fifth, Asakombi sixth. Now, if we do have to restart, those in the top 10 will have to start on the same tyres, but they'll all have fresh tyres, which might just be a bit more of an advantage for those on the soft. Being able to get a lap longer out of them might prove to be oh so important. As we have, it does seem we've had we know what F1 2020 is like. I've said it plenty of times. Everyone else has said it plenty of times. It looks like the race director has decided that these drivers are either not starting at all or are all going to be starting on absolutely freezing cold tyres. So I think we are going to have a restart to this session, unfortunately. We are going to have a restart. As soon as we get back into the other lobby, we'll be able to get it underway. Thomas on pole, just as second. Bullet Boy in third position. Chapalele, the lead car, on a set of medium tyres. And Menno de Bever, lead car on a fresh set of tyres. That advantage, though, has gone away, starting outside the top 10 on a fresher set of tyres has just disappeared. Oh, so slightly. So that's bad news for some of those further down the grid, including definitely one of the fastest drivers on the grid, Connor. So we're just waiting for an invite to pop in to the lobby, and I will be able to join as everyone starts leaving the session. So many quick drivers in this field. As we said, many quick drivers. Very tricky circuit, though, Spain. It's the one the drivers all know in real life. It gets used for testing so many times. Turn 3, as we said, and Turn 4 will kill your tyres. If you start understeering through there, we saw in qualifying a few drivers just understeering to Turn 4, get a wheel on the dirt, spin it round, which is so easily done and just can cause so many problems. And Connor, in the end, getting caught out through Turn 9, another long left-hander where it's easy to just carry a bit too much speed in, understeer through,